Hello and welcome to Property Mastermind Podcast, episode 207. Today, is property development right for me? Have you got what it takes? What do you need? What do you need to check to make sure that this is for you? Should you be a property developer? Should you give it a crack or should you not? Should you leave it to the others? Jump on in. Let's chat about it. Hello and welcome to Property Mastermind Podcast. I'm Hilary Saxon. This is Bob Anderson. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Hilary.
Is property development for me? We're talking about that today. Before we do, giving away the book. This week, the book goes to Mackenzie Weaver. Great chat with you on the weekend, Mackenzie. This is in the post to you. All righty, Bob, you didn't want to do a tip. Full disclosure, we just recorded these back to back. And he goes, I haven't got a tip. And I was going to make one up for him. And I was like, nah, we're just going to leave it. No tip today.
Everyone will have to get by without a tip.
Actually, I could
I could ask you if you got a tip.
Yeah, I probably would have a tip. And it probably goes with the podcast. If you think you can, you probably can. And if you think you can't, you probably can't. And that's pretty much it. And some people talk themselves out of things and some people talk themselves into things. And I think that we can all talk ourselves into things. I suppose, full disclosure, I'm a bit of a high achiever, so are you, Bob. So we always probably believe that we have the ability to do things. But I suppose the things that we don't do, we give ourselves excuses for. When I do excuses, I do the word, the fingers beside, excuses. We have great reasons why we don't do things, and we live by those. But Bob, how did you know that property development was for you, and what do you believe are the qualities that you have to be a good property developer?
No, I haven't had time to think about this.
I know you can ask me the same question.
I will in a minute.
It's a good question.
Yeah. When I chose property development as something to do, I was coming from a situation of lack, because it was after I had quite a bad car accident. I was on my back for a long period of time. When I came out, I was pretty much broke and I needed to make money. And I had a look around. I was trying to work out who makes money around here. And property had always been an interest to me. So I thought, okay, it's property then. It's not share market. I knew nothing about that. Wasn't going to suddenly become a brain surgeon. And so I thought, okay, who makes money in property? Okay, who we got? We got real estate agents, and we got, people on the fringe like engineers. Well, that takes a degree. Surveying, no, that means study. Okay, how can I get in property and make money and not have to go to study? And I thought, well, property developers, I assume they make a lot of money. I've heard they do.
They drive nice cars.
Well, yeah. And I thought, well, you don't have to, there's no degree in property development. You don't have to have a degree to be a property developer. You don't have to do it. Maybe that's it. And I sort of narrowed it down. Looks like property developers make quite a lot of money and you don't have to go and spend 4 years at uni. Maybe I'll have a crack at that. And that's sort of how it came about. And because I needed to make money.
So what are the qualities that you have that make you a good property developer? I've got one. I've got some if you need me to chip in. Yeah.
I had a few that weren't so great. I was one of those people who did, every day they did the easy things and put the not so easy things off. And then, of course, the next day you start to build up and you end up with a lot of not easy things to do. And so I worked out, no, that's not getting me there. And so I had to correct that. But that was something I sort of...
I didn't know that, Bob, about you.
You didn't know me then?
No, I didn't know that it was something that you did, because I'm actually surprised that that was you in the past. Interesting.
Well, it's before I became a property developer, because I did a 12 or 18 months in real estate sales. And I quickly worked out that you don't make money doing that in real estate. And so I corrected that. And that certainly helped a lot. But yeah, in terms of attributes, I guess I'm pretty quick to learn stuff. I can be pretty tenacious to get, to achieve something if I really want to achieve it. But I have to really want to achieve it and be really interested in it.
I watched you this morning. We had a meeting. So Bob, Aaron and myself have Ultra Urban, and we're just looking at a new development we're looking at doing, and it's looking quite likely. So that's a childcare centre. But Bob plugged his laptop in the TV and we were going through it and having a look at the proposal that had come through to us, and we're sort of making some decisions. But you were like your brain was like a calculator. You were saying, "Oh, that would be that. That would be that." I was watching it, thinking, "Wow!" And that would be, one, you're good with numbers, but two, I suppose it's the experience that came with knowing exactly, just what the calculations and it was pretty
Yeah.
impressive to watch, Bob.
Well, like anything, it's also knowing what to look for, and that does come from experience
Yeah.
for sure. And that's why I can do it now. I've had so many years' experience. But the thing is, when you're starting out, the old story, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know the questions that you need to ask
Mm.
because you don't know.
But I think where you started with one of your best qualities that you had to teach yourself to have was don't put off the hard stuff to do tomorrow. Do the hard stuff when it needs to be done. Not necessarily first, but just do
Mm.
it in order. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I always had a to-do list, and then what I'd do, I'd prioritise my to-do list on the easiest to the hardest. And so come, 5 o'clock or whatever, not that we finish at 5, sometimes we finish at 3, sometimes we finish at 7, like who knows. But at the end of the day, out of the 15 things, I've done the 10 easy ones and maybe one or two of the hard ones. Oh, there's 3 there. That's okay. It's so easy. Just move them to the next day. Trouble is you're starting off with 3 hard ones the next day before you add your other 15, and then you end up with 6 hard ones. And like that was in my real estate sales days before I became a property developer. I'm pretty close. I sort of became one almost immediately, but um, that made my job a lot better, like as a salesperson as well. When I started to prioritise things, and that certainly helped. But that's just one thing. I was just saying that was sort of a weakness that I had to fix.
Mm.
I was probably well, yeah. Even in those days, I was probably I wouldn't say I was shy, but I wasn't gung ho. I didn't have the confidence. I had confidence in anything I was doing. I had confidence in certain sports because I had confidence in certain things, um, but I had to build up some confidence in the new area, which was real estate marketing and real estate sales and that. But success breeds confidence. So
I believe you have also a negotiator's way of being. You'll always sit back, listen to what the other person's got to say, and thoroughly think through how you will articulate how you move forward. So if you and I are in an environment, whether it's work related or social, it's always me that will begin talking and you'll listen. I'm also good at listening, but you'll hold off with your opinion. You'll think about it a bit longer than I'll be a bit more forthcoming with mine because I've
mm.
got an opinion on everything.
Yeah, it's not a right or a wrong, but in property development, there's certain if you're really risk adverse,
Don't do it.
no, I've met some people that should not be property developers and aren't for good reason. Um, People just worry all the time. They worry about they're not happy unless they're worrying about something. Well, there's more than enough things out there to worry about if you're looking for something to worry about, But like, you've got to be on top of all of that. And in property development, it's going to be speed bumps. It's going to be detours. You're going to deal with councils sometimes that don't make sense to you, and you've got stuff happening there. Sometimes with consultants, sometimes with builders. Like, not often, but some things are going to happen. Some markets are going to change. They change more for the better than they do for the worst. But like sometimes, you're going to get a bit of worse.
Mm.
You'll get more good than bad, but you have to, to accept the good and appreciate. You've got to deal with the bad. And so, yeah, I've heard people say, "Oh, anyone can learn how to be a property developer." Like, you might be able to learn how, but can you be? Learning's one thing, being is another.
And I believe that exactly anyone can learn, but not everyone should be. Exactly what you're saying. And if I look through the people that I know that are in our community and are doing it, there's no, you can't pick who that person will be, but you can often pick who it won't be. And I think you nailed it with that risk adverse. If you get stuck in analysis paralysis or you procrastinate on something too long, and I do see it and I have seen it a lot, then it's not for you. It's okay to feel a little bit down about things. You might be looking for a sign, it's frustrating, and you're like, oh God, it's just not happening for me. That's okay because you've still got that ability to keep looking. But if you really do find that you're a sort of an over analyzer, you're never going to do it. And people listening now, and some of you, I'm talking to you, if you keep finding small things to do that don't really matter and don't take those big step forward because it's easier, then maybe property development is for you. Or if you're always on the fringes and not wanting to, just get in. Instead of thinking you're a property developer by, watching Facebook ads and watching Facebook, YouTube, or watching our podcast over and over, if you're serious about it, then get serious about it, rather than, I'll do it later, I'll do it when. You'll never actually do it. In fact, you told me once that of all the people that said to you, I'll do the mentoring program in X amount, they never do anything. They never ever move forward, do they?
No, it's very rare.
No.
We interview everybody who applies to become, part of our mentoring program. So it's not people that don't know. You don't just like wave your credit card.
No.
They won't do anything.
No.
And we have a really good conversation with each other about it. We make sure that they really know what they're getting in for with property development, what our expectations are, and we listen to them, what they want to achieve. And it's only after quite a strong conversation that we both come to the conclusion, well, let's say that, it's good. It's good for us, good for the other person. And that's when it happens. We don't mind saying no.
I had a guy last week, he rang up and he's got a large parcel in the land and had a story that came with it. And I thought, I do know that we probably would be one of the only companies that could help him because of your experience. We're not just teaching how to knock up a 5 or 10 or 7 or something like that. It's going to be a little bit technical and it would need your expertise in the background for sure. But even then, I just said, hang on, I'm just going to get Bob in, put it on loudspeaker, had a few more questions. And I said, you just go away and think about it. And then, we have to think about it because we're not here to do it for somebody. We teach people how to do property development. And sometimes I find people want rescuing and we're not here to rescue. And saying that, I had an amazing lady. I had a conversation this week and I hope you do listen to this. And she's wanting to get into property development and you absolutely can. She's a little bit older, starting off on the back foot, which can happen, and because we all have life things happen to us. But she, when you talk to someone, you're like, yes, you can do this. She can do this. And I think the people that have that tenacity, that have the energy, that they're passionate, they want it. They're talking themselves and you into it at the same time. It's like, yeah, absolutely, you can do this. Yeah. So I think it's that you've got to have that tenacity. You've got to be a little bit cheeky. And cheeky doesn't always mean noisy. Like you're a little bit cheeky, but you're certainly not as noisy as me. I'm just a little noisier cheeky, but you've got that little cheeky thing going on. But that's part of the communication for negotiation, for all sorts of things.
Yeah. And that person that you're talking about, I remember you talking to me after that conversation and I could just feel, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's great. Got the drive, the determination, the need, the why's there. We always got to have a why.
Massive why. As even if I say that, I've got the goosebumps, but yeah, there is a massive why. So I've talked about the things, you don't want to have is that, the big red flags. If you're a procrastinator, you keep putting things off, if you've got every excuse in the world, if you're going to wait until, then it's probably not for you. But it doesn't mean property development isn't for you. Maybe just you aren't to be the property developer. There are plenty of other people, doing property developments that you could invest with. You can invest with us. We've got mentoring students that you could invest with. As I just said, we're looking at, did I say what it was? It's a childcare.
Yeah.
That'll be going live very soon. And, there are opportunities with us and with other people as well. So you may not want to be the developer, but you could be involved as either a loan partner where you get an interest rate return or as an equity partner where you share in the profit. So there are different ways of being in property development without being a property developer, but maybe it's just not for you, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I wasn't made to be an artist, Bob.
I've noticed that.
I was made to buy art. Probably wasn't made to sing either. And neither were you, by the way.
It doesn't come as any great surprise to hear that. I've been told that my whole life. The good thing is property developers don't have to sing.
Yeah. So can you think of any other things that, well, I love that you started off by pointing out about the thing you overcame, your habit of putting things off. I would actually also say it's really important to have good people around you. So important to have that team of people who you trust, who just have your back. You just never. Our team is so solid, and the people that we work with are always like that too.
Yeah.
That as our development team, even having the team around me at all times, they're solid.
Yeah, and having somebody you can talk to when things aren't great, when your confidence is a bit lacking, when your energy is a bit low, you know you have to step up. Is have somebody to be able to talk to about that who really understands that situation and can help lift you up too, which is all part of having the right people around you, like you say.
And that's you and I. Sometimes we might be, just our morning chat about going through the mentoring students where they're at. So we do, I know we talk about, but we actually do that. Talk about who's with. We had that this morning after our meeting about the childcare, who's where, what are they up to, what do they need, how can we help them? So we've got that, but with our own developments, and sometimes you're under quite a bit of pressure. I don't understand how you don't crack, but every now and then you just need to offload, and you just have to say it out loud. And you've got myself, but you've also got another business partner on the other side that you get to talk about stuff with. The flip side of that is the exciting side. We get excited about, and who do we talk about that with? Like this new project, that's so exciting for me. I just like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Aaron's so excited. We just get excited. And hopefully it all goes ahead. But then remembering, like every property developer, I finish that statement with, and hopefully it all goes ahead, because then the next bit has to happen around just finalizing conversations and getting the final detail out to make sure everything's correct, and then going and approaching investors and just making sure it can happen, because just like everyone else, plenty of things don't happen. And we had one 10 days ago. I was like, yes, so excited, and it didn't happen. So we deal with exactly what everyone else deals with. There's a deal, there's not a deal. There's a deal, there's not a deal. But solid team, just you've got to keep going and
maintain that level.
Yeah, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs.
That's a personality thing, though.
Yeah.
Some people get incredibly excited at just the thought of doing a deal, but they haven't really gone far enough into it, done all the due diligence and fully understood it. They get so excited that, if the DD doesn't come out right or the numbers aren't right, they get deflated. So I think that's something too. You have to try and find that middle ground. Like when we looked at that one the other week, I know a few people got excited about it. So, well, okay, just chill. Like
Calm down,
we need to
kids.
go deeper on this thing. It might not be a deal. It might be, and when it is, you get excited. But
I suppose I go straight to how much money do I need to raise? Because that's my role in it. So how much do I need? I'm always like, what do I need to get? How much money do you want me to go and find? Because
we're still finalising the feasibility.
Yeah, I know.
You're pushing us for how much money.
Yeah, I just need to have it. I start planning, I suppose, in my head what my steps will be, where I will go first, who I will reach out to. I've got a VIP list or whatever. And that's just another trait. Like we're talking about the traits of of property developers. Mine is I probably just have my own planning system happening in the background. And I suppose for us, we all have our own role. And you mentioned, we talked before about, having to learn stuff. I think people that are lazy to learn and don't want to actually understand when they're doing it on their own, that they have to understand all of it, that is a problem. And we've seen that, haven't we?
Yeah. It's not a job for lazy people, property development. It's not a get rich quick scheme.
No.
It's get rich slower scheme.
Or it is faster than working for the man, but it takes a bit of work.
You never get ahead doing that.
Yeah,
you can get where you want to get in life on $30, $40 an hour, $50 an hour. You can't do it, but in that respect, it is, and you can, like you can do a duplex in 2 years and make 400,000 or 500,000 out of it. No worries, So that in that respect, but there's the effort and the knowledge and the confidence and all those little bits and pieces that come together to be able to do that. That's what I mean, not get rich quick. It's you can make money quick, good money quick, but it takes effort, and it takes quite a bit. It takes a bit of sacrifice, it takes tenacity, it takes all those things we've been talking about. And some projects are tougher than others. Some are quite breezy, and some you seem to be kicking the door down every day, at least for a while. But that's what you do. That's what property developers do. we do the things, successful people do the things unsuccessful people aren't prepared to do. And a lot of it is like that in property development.
Mm. So, Bob, what would be your takeaway? I think we can pretty much wrap this one up here. For people that want to get into property development, what would you say? What are the 3 questions they should ask themselves?
Well, I think why?
Yep.
Because that's really important. That'll sustain you when things aren't going really well and you don't just fall into a heap.
Mm.
So the why is good. And then think about yourself. Are you prepared to sacrifice? You're going to lose some time. Do you have time? Do you have some time? It doesn't take lots of time necessarily, but you're going to have to give it a priority. What are you prepared to move? What are you prepared to move out of the way to do this? And because some people don't.
Yeah, exactly.
They try and slot it in somewhere, but it will have to take a priority in your life.
And there's that personal investment in yourself as well, Bob. You've got to be prepared to invest in your own, the time for learning, invest in a decent course or mentoring or whatever. You've got to invest in yourself to actually do it well and just have the quality
and
people around you.
Why you need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because if you don't understand that, you're never going to crack it in property development.
And have you got a third?
Looking for a cheap way out. Well, that was really the third one, what you brought up. But, you're looking for a cheap way out of everything. Don't waste your time on property development.
No.
It's cheap,
That's more a reno's dream. Go to Renos. You're looking for your cheap way out, go to Renos.
Yeah, even a reno, you got to do well.
Oh, but I mean, when you do it, I've done over 20 renos, so you can buy cheaper materials, and it's different. It's completely different to property development.
Different animal altogether. Yeah.
So thanks, Bob. I think we can wind this one up. I think as property development for me, I think you've just got to. Yeah, it was for me, and I didn't know it was going to be for me. I was the reno queen, really, but I do love. I even said to Bob earlier this year, I just want to do a development by myself, but I probably don't really have the time to do that. And yeah, it would be a bit silly. We've got enough going on, a few developments happening, but I love the thrill. I love the thrill of the development. There is a thrill in it, and it's very exciting. And even today for us now, having that new one came in Friday. I checked my emails as I got in bed last night, and I said, "Hey, Bob," and I started reading it out to you. I said, "Look, it's looking good," and you were sort of on your way to bed, and here I am reading through the information that Aaron had sent through. So that was pretty exciting. So that I think I'm a little bit addicted.
Oh, you should be.
Yeah.
It's a good addiction.
Yeah, it is a good addiction. I think it's a very positive thing. We probably just pointed out the negatives because don't waste your money if you're not going to get into it. But if you want to invest in ours or any of our mentoring students, reach out to me because we've got some great opportunities right now. Anyway, Bob, thanks so much. Hopefully we've inspired a few people to have a long, hard look at themselves and decide whether they might want to be a property developer, and maybe that's you.
It'll change your life forever, that's for sure.
For sure. Okay, we'll catch you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.